the wedding that turned into a family trial. At the very moment the bride was about to say her vows, the entire venue suddenly fell silent. Not because of emotion, but because a recording had just begun playing through the speakers, and within seconds, the elegant Whitmore family wedding transformed into a family trial in front of hundreds of guests. The ceremony was being held at a lakeside resort where every detail had been prepared to perfection. White flowers lined the aisle. Candlelight shimmered across every table. The guests included respected members of society, longtime friends, business partners, and relatives from both families. The bride, Amelia Whitmore, entered wearing a breathtaking wedding gown. To many people, she was the picture of a fortunate woman about to marry Daniel Harris, a successful, polite man admired by his entire family. But behind that gentle smile, Amelia carried a wound no one could see. For months leading up to the wedding, she had repeatedly heard whispers that she was not worthy of Daniel, that she was joining the Harris family for money, that her mother had a shameful past. And the person who spread those rumors more than anyone else was her future mother-in-law, Vivian Harris. In front of guests, Vivian appeared to be the perfect woman. She hugged Amelia in public. She called her daughter. She told everyone how happy the Harris family was to welcome her. But once the doors closed, her voice became cold. She had told Amelia that a girl without status should know her place. She had asked her to sign a property agreement without Daniel knowing. She had secretly contacted several guests and shared distorted stories about Amelia's family so people would look at her with suspicion. Amelia remained silent, not because she was weak, but because she wanted to protect her wedding day. Yet some truths, when buried for too long, eventually find their own way into the light. When the officiant asked Daniel whether he accepted Amelia as his wife, he smiled and said yes. Then, it was Amelia's turn. She looked at Daniel for a long moment. At that exact moment, a faint crackling sound came from the main speaker. At first, everyone assumed it was a technical problem, but a few seconds later, Vivian's voice echoed clearly through the hall. She will never enter this family as an equal. Let the wedding happen first, then we will force her to sign away all her rights. The entire audience froze. Vivian turned pale. Daniel immediately turned to look at his mother, but the recording continued. Another voice appeared. It belonged to the Harris family attorney. What if Daniel finds out? Vivian let out a quiet laugh in the recording. He won't. He trusts his mother more than anyone. Amelia stood perfectly still. She did not cry. She did not tremble. She simply looked at the woman who had been smiling at her all morning. Daniel stepped down from the altar. His voice was hoarse. "Mom, what is this?" Vivian immediately denied everything. She claimed the recording was fake. She said Amelia had orchestrated the entire thing. She called her a greedy woman trying to destroy the Harris family on her wedding day. But before she could continue, an elderly man rose from among the guests. It was Samuel Reed, Daniel's father's personal attorney before his death. He slowly walked forward carrying a folder. His voice was calm but unmistakably clear. "This recording is not fake. It was delivered to me 3 days ago, along with documents proving that Mrs. Vivian Harris secretly transferred assets from the family trust into private accounts." The room erupted in murmurs. Vivian stepped back. Daniel could hardly believe what he was hearing. For years, he had believed his mother was the one who held the family together after his father's death. He believed she had sacrificed everything for her son. But now, just before his wedding day, the truth had been dragged into the light. Samuel opened the folder. He explained that before his death, Daniel's father had included a special clause. If anyone in the family intentionally manipulated Daniel's marriage in order to gain control of family assets, all authority over the Harris Trust would immediately be suspended and transferred to a lawful successor chosen by him. Vivian laughed bitterly. She looked at Daniel. "You're the only heir. Nobody can take that away from you." Samuel remained silent for a few seconds. Then he turned toward Amelia. "No." The person he chose was not Daniel. Every eye instantly shifted toward the bride. Amelia took a deep breath. Samuel continued. "Many years ago, Amelia's mother saved Daniel's father from a financial lawsuit that could have destroyed the entire company. He later established a protective trust, and the final guardian he selected was Amelia Whitmore." Vivian stood frozen. Daniel was equally stunned. The woman the Harris family had looked down on, the woman they called insignificant, was actually the person who held the power to influence their family's future. Amelia stepped forward. She did not look at the guests. She looked at Daniel. Her voice was soft. "I didn't play this recording to get revenge on you. I played it because I couldn't enter a marriage built on lies." Daniel lowered his head. For the first time in his life, he didn't know whom to protect. The mother who had raised him, or the woman who had quietly endured humiliation simply because she loved him. Amelia removed her wedding ring. She placed it on the table covered with white flowers. Then she turned toward Vivian. "You once told me I didn't know my place. Today, I know exactly where I stand. I stand behind no one." The entire hall fell silent. Nobody applauded. Nobody spoke. Because some moments become powerful without making a sound. A few weeks later, an official investigation began. Vivian's hidden assets were uncovered. The family attorney was suspended from practicing law. Daniel left the Harris estate and, for the first time, faced the consequences of his mother's actions on his own. As for Amelia, she did not become a bride that day. But she became the woman who restored her mother's honor, her own dignity, and the dignity of everyone who had ever been underestimated simply because they remained silent for too long. The story quickly spread as one of the most unforgettable family drama Reddit stories people had ever heard. Many called it an unbelievable Reddit family drama story. But for Amelia, it wasn't dramatic storytelling. It was the day she chose truth over a glamorous marriage. Sometimes a wedding is not where two families come together. Sometimes it is where long-hidden secrets are finally forced into the open. And sometimes the person everyone sees as the weakest is actually the one holding the most powerful truth. If you were Amelia, would you have gone through with the wedding, or would you have walked away on your wedding day? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for the next story, where even darker family secrets will be revealed.